So if just start just worked, you wouldn't actually be watching this. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and include myself in that. Just start is that advice. It just sounds so simple, just so obvious until you actually try to do it. Because for some people, starting feels extremely heavy. And for others, it feels basically impossible. And I've touched on this before, but for a lot of us, that gap between I want to and I did gets wider and wider the longer you sit in I want to. I wasn't sure I wanted to make this video. Not because I don't believe it, because I certainly do, or I wouldn't be starting. It's just, I guess, because this one feels a little raw. I didn't script it out. I didn't even really storyboard it. I have a couple beats planned in my mind, but that's about it. Speaking from the heart type of deal, because this is hard. It's very hard. It's a lot easier to make videos when you have all the, here's my story beats, just definitely at least outlined out. You've got your B-roll planned, you're explaining a system, or you're teaching a workflow, or you're standing from a position of authority, or you're steps ahead of the viewer. And this one doesn't really kind of do that, unless you're just on the cusp of starting, which I guess then you are just a couple steps behind me. So good for you. Good for you. But this video is me saying I'm not sure this channel is ready. I'm not sure I'm ready for this channel, but I think I need to be. And honestly, I'm not even really sure that's true, okay? But I guess the hesitation itself is sort of the point. Most people don't fail to start because they're lazy, and I've touched on this as well. But they fail to start because starting feels heavier than it looks, from the outside. There's all this pressure and expectation and this quiet sense, this internal struggle that it's sort of like, do you want to sign a contract with yourself that you're just going to keep doing this forever? I mean, once you start, you're doing it. And you're not always ready to commit. But, when people just say, just start, they're saying, hey, just ignore all of that. Just ignore it. Put it in the back of your mind. Don't think about it. And that's great advice. That if it works, so it's great advice in theory. In practice, for a lot of people, it just adds guilt. For some people, and God bless you, the friction's manageable. For others, it is absolutely paralyzing. And some brains feel it louder than the others, which is, why this channel exists in the format it does. But that doesn't make this a character flaw. It's something I just want to make very, very clear. It's a design problem. So I wasn't sure I was going to talk about this part, but there's a little bit of irony in sort of this segment, because in a version of this channel, the first version of this channel, the one you can't see anymore because I hit it or deleted it, I'm not sure which, I'll look later, but my first video for it was a just start video. Just start. I was in my car, and I just had my phone going, the phone on my dashboard. And, I meant it. I believed it. But at the same token, I was probably saying it as much to myself as I was to anyone watching it. It was a very self-serving video. It's just trying to get myself to really internalize it, I suppose. And then I realized something uncomfortable. I couldn't actually practice what I was preaching. At least, I guess not in the way I was framing it. Because just start assumes starting is the same problem for everyone. Everyone's brain is the same. And it's not. Again, another point of this channel. And for me, and I know for a lot of you, it isn't. And that was kind of the moment that the mission statement for this channel changed. That's the moment I really got some clarity on what I wanted to do, and with clarity brought motivation. But instead of asking how I forced myself to follow that advice, I started asking, why doesn't that work in the first place? Why isn't that advice working in the first place? And like I've touched on this before, I got my diagnosis of ADHD a decade ago, and it did take me a bit after that to even accept that that was true. I thought it was medication I was taking for something completely different, like nerve damage and stuff, but it's neither here nor there. But eventually, as I learned more and more about it, because I couldn't stop myself from learning about it, of course, I came to accept it. And I'm still learning. I'm always learning more and more. So that's where the ADHD framing for this channel came from. That's where the ADHD framing came from. That question is what reshaped everything. It's, the ADHD isn't a label. It's not a perfect label for the channel. It's not gate. It's not gate. What a sentence that is. This channel isn't gatekeeping. It's not just for ADHD folks. It's for really anyone who just start isn't the advice that works for them. An explanation for why so much well-meaning advice kind of falls apart in real life. Because the problems I want to talk about with activation and being overwhelmed and dealing with perfectionism and dealing with burnout, those aren't niche problems. Those are just human problems. They're very human problems. ADHD just makes them impossible to ignore. So instead of pretending those problems don't exist, I figured I'd make a channel that works with them. Just reframe the advice in a package that is friendly to us. And not just for people with ADHD, like I said, but for anyone tired of all that advice that, is great advice, but only works in theory. And when you try to put it into practice, it just kind of falls apart on you. And I know a lot of that advice, I've spent an embarrassing amount of time researching YouTube, even before I decided I wanted to make a channel about making YouTube. Months watching videos from basically any creator you can think of, who makes YouTube guru or production or productivity or monetization videos. I've watched it, and I love learning. That's something that I guess you should just know about me, and I'm sure it's true for a lot of you because here you are to learn. But I didn't just learn about YouTube. I kind of fell for YouTube itself. How do I put this? I love the fact that the algorithm is this mysterious overlord for everyone's advice, just entire world. And no one really quite understands it fully. People just kind of scrape at the surface. I don't even think the people who made it understand it fully anymore. But I understand all the strategies for trying to work with it. I understand the systems. I wouldn't say I fully understand how it works, but I do understand that a lot of the advice around approaching it doesn't survive contact with real life for a lot of people, especially those of us that don't have unlimited energy or focus or time. So at some point for me, it stopped making sense to continue consuming advice that I already knew wouldn't work for me, although there are certainly content creators I follow religiously still. Rob and Ty and Alexa and a couple of I'll put some shout outs in the description. But I think it was time to admit that the advice didn't work perfectly for me. It was time for me to either reframe it or just find better advice or just something better in general. And Why now? And it's why do I suddenly have this motivation to do this? It's not because I fixed myself. What was that? Duck? Yep, there's some ducks out there. But anyway, not because I certainly haven't fixed myself. I didn't. What was it? So why now? I'm not suddenly cured of executive dysfunction. The difference this time is it's like contextual, I guess. The conditions surrounding everything, the conditions around starting have changed. They're different in a way that they honestly never have been. Like maybe back when YouTube first launched, but even compared to that, making content is easier now than it ever has been. I mean, it's not effortless. I hate the easy mode videos. I do not like the YouTube is easy mode. Either the ones that say that it is, or the ones that say it isn't anymore. And that anymore is just an implication. It can send someone into a shame spiral. You can just drown in your own guilt. Well, why can't I do it if it's easy? Yeah, okay, those videos aren't helping. Let me just put that out there to any other content creators who make this kind of stuff. Those videos don't help. They're hostile. And honestly, content creation is and should be now less hostile than it ever has been. I mean, all you need is a phone, maybe a decent mic and a decent light, maybe a tripod. Not effortless, but you get tools now that don't fight you. Editing especially has changed. I mean, shooting videos easier than before, and editing is worlds easier than it ever has been before. I have experience with editing from the last century, which is awful to say. Wow. Oh my God. Okay. I don't want to ever frame anything like that again. But now we have these AI assisted tools, and they don't replace thinking, but they do remove a lot of the tedious steps, and tedium kills momentum, and momentum keeps, as long as we have momentum, we can do anything, right? It's easier to have follow through with fewer steps, and that matters more than motivation. Kind of momentum, inertia, I suppose, whatever you want to call it. But and YouTube itself has changed, and not because it's more generous. It's always the same self-serving thing that it's always been. It wants to keep people on the platform watching YouTube. But the way it's kind of evolved, it's better at testing individual videos. So brand new content creator, as long as your video has a clear message, YouTube is able to take that clear, specific idea and actually have it find the right people. That's crazy. On just based off the transcript. I mean, your tags and everything can help a little bit, but what actually matters is the content. Just kind of need to be relevant. And that changes the risk. You can test your ideas without like marrying them, without committing your soul. And then now we have the collaboration features now as well. And I look forward to being able to use those. But from what I've seen, it helps small creators work together. And before, small creators working together, it was fun, but it was kind of pointless. I mean, maybe you got some new subscribers or whatever, your name got out there, but I mean, it was. But now it really helps you grow wide. Maybe not tall, but definitely wide. It's one of the fastest ways, I think. And I think more importantly, it makes the process less lonely. Because let me tell you, starting out, this process can be super lonely. The people around you, they might be supportive, but they probably don't understand how you're feeling. And finding like-minded people who are passionate about the same thing that you're passionate about is the best way to get better. I mean, I hate referencing like the big names, but even Mr. Beast talks about how back in the beginning, before before he really blew up, how he had this little like cabal, this YouTube think tank who kind of lived and breathed YouTube. They loved it. They studied it. They pushed each other, and that is amazing. Having even one person like that will lower the activation cost. I guess what I'm trying to say is starting alone is hard. Starting with even one person lowers the activation cost. I said that twice. Yeah, definitely have to do a little bit of editing, I guess. But there's also a shift. I didn't know Rode was made in Australia. Sorry, I just noticed the back of the receiver for my mic. It says that Rode's made in Australia. That's cool. Just ADHD things, whatever, right there. You know how it is. But oh yeah, okay. What was I saying? I talked about. There's a shift on the viewer side of things. And going back to AI again, AI has made content easier to produce than ever. But then you have the generative AI, which, what people colloquially, I always have a hard time saying that word, refer to as AI slop, has made content not only easier to make, but also easier to ignore. Because people just know, they feel it when a video has no soul, when a video exists just to exist. It's there just for clicks. So what cuts through now isn't polish. You see these people blowing up who are just like a guy in his basement with a whiteboard explaining something. That's intent, that's specificity, that's authenticity, that's having a real point of view, that's being a real person. You speak and people can feel that and resonate with it, and it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be. So let me be. God, I love that song. I'm a nerd. Big nerd. Anyway, and then let's touch on the second focus of this channel. Those of us with ADHD, there's culturally, we fit in more. There's more room now for us to breathe. There's more room to build around kind of reality. I don't know what that means. What I'm trying to say. There's more openness about burnout, and that's not just for ADHD people, but there's more understanding about our inconsistency. So we don't have to mask as much. I mean, society still exists, so we're a little bit, but you don't have to optimize your entire life. You don't have to pretend that the system that works for everyone, I guess, if you want to go really broad, works for you. It's like the tagline of the channel is create with the brain you have. Yeah, you can say, this is how I'm building my channel. This is how I'm building what I want to build, given the life and the brain that I have, that is actually me. And even a few years ago, that permission didn't really exist. You see just amazing ADHD creators out there. I don't know if I can be one of them. I'm gonna try. I'm still super nervous about this. Yet another thing, building a community is hard. Like, I can't wait till I start getting comments, that's starting to happen in the review channel where people are constantly chit-chatting. It's amazing. It's a slow burn, reviews. Getting people to subscribe to a review channel, a place that most people go to see one thing and then bounce off, is interesting. It's been an interesting experience. So the fact that I have almost, I'd say, fans now is just crazy. There's people sticking around, not because they need a specific, doodad or whatnot. It's because they enjoy watching me talk about them. That's weird, but I love it. It's such a feeling. Your first comment, a compliment on your video, your first subscriber. It's such a feeling. I'm going to definitely have to go into RSV, aren't I? Of course, part of me wants to wait. Part of me wants to polish more. and make this feel safer for me. But I mean, waiting has never made me feel more ready. There's that saying is the best time to start was like however long ago you want to say it, a year, 2 years, a decade. The best time to have started YouTube was a decade ago. And the second best time is right now. It's about not spending your time getting better at avoiding the start, I guess, is my roundabout way of almost saying the same stupid thing I was railing against in the beginning. But it's okay to feel how you feel. This video is me choosing to begin before I really feel ready to just start. Before I feel settled. And it's not recklessly. Honestly, if you've just been sitting on something, you want to start anything, not even just a channel, any other project or shift in your life, and the advice you keep hearing doesn't work, you just need new advice. You're not uniquely bad at this. You're not broken. Conditions matter. But right now the conditions are probably the best they've ever been. At least for me, I guess. Hopefully for you as well. So if you want to follow along as I build this channel, I'm going to be super open about it. It's almost going to be a case study in what I'm preaching, what I say, what I teach. I will be open about the trials and tribulations and the ups and downs and all of that stuff. It's going to be fun, I think. It's going to be maybe a little more exposed than I even initially thought I was going to be, but the more I think about it, the more sense it makes, I guess. That authenticity that I was talking about. Just making the channel, imperfectly and without pretending it's easy, because it's not. This is hard. It's very hard. I guess what you're trying to say is I welcome you. I'd love for you to follow along as we build together. So if you want to stick around, go ahead and subscribe. You know how it is. But, I'm not going to pretend I don't want you to, but there's no pressure. And for you also, I want, if you take away anything from this, it's just you will never feel ready. So it's kind of about starting before the moment passes again. And that's where I am right now. I'm starting before I let myself not start.